Welcome to Granblue Radio number 176. This is Sheepdose, and with me as always.
I don't even know how to. We're not doing this for me. Hi, DJ.
All right, DJ Dose.
What? That's what I wanted to avoid.
Oh boy, there's a lot to talk about. We did delay this by a day specifically so that we could talk about the huge number of things that dropped in the past, let's call it 18-ish hours. So let's begin. So first of all, the most insignificant but also the neatest one for me is that when you are in the party screen, it just plain has it has a party button for you now. So let me just
The quest,
yeah, just bring up a quest here.
and you try and change your party.
And you try to change your party. So before, there was this big party return to party selection screen right here. And as you moved around, it would change. Like, if you couldn't get to it from the weapon screen, you couldn't get to it from the summon screen. If you tried to change your class, it would get lost.
Hard.
It was
really hard to find it.
So now there's just a select party button.
Well,
Yay!
you can't see it on your screen, but
Right, it's at the bottom. You can't see it on the way that I cut this, but it's
right
there.
below, actually.
It's there. It's
Where
there
you
at the
cut.
bottom. So yay! Yay, usability.
It's needed. It was needed.
Yeah.
It's not weird getting used to, but after getting used to it, I'm like, okay, this is easy.
Given that I've been moving my pluses around endlessly, my next request is please, an easy way to move pluses. But there's a lot of quality of life things that they can do. We'll find out what they are in 2 days for the next ones. All right, the next one up. Let's go with the addition in side stories
Ranger Sign Bravo.
of Ranger Sign Bravo. It's been a couple years since this one came around. It had a rerun.
It was 2017, wasn't it? When it
Yes.
first came out? Yeah.
Mhm.
I
And
remember it was during AX when it first came out.
yeah, and we always talk about this, but where it was like, oh, this is gonna be a joke event with a joke character, and then we were just like sitting down there and
Walder.
like staring at our hands, like, why is life such pain? How can he persevere?
Why do I care about? How much can I care about this little penguin-looking thing?
The answer is a lot. And then they gave him his 5-star, and I originally planned on doing this episode on stream, so I'll wait and do that later. But like the story for Walder's Fate episodes, I'm really invested. I'm liking it. Have you done the uncap yet or anything?
I have not yet. I've been busy with work.
Yeah, no worries. The thing that I will go ahead and talk about is what they did to him. We're going to be very brief about this. He's an SR, and he doesn't have turn 1 burst, so you only use him out of love rather than any sort of usefulness in most cases.
He gets his usefulness at turn 8.
Well, they did change that part, at least. So, the things that they changed are, number 1, when he's in I am a hero mode, which you do by pressing Walder the Super Ranger, which is ready in 8 turns, then it extends the duration. Also, in the uncap, it gets rid of the debuff. And after that, yeah, so before, he would go into super mode, become, SSR tier, and then he would just die. Like,
Sometimes you die hero.
he would die a hero. But, you had to be deeply in love with the character to use him at all. The things that happen now, so Black Down, while he's in I am a hero mode, does accuracy down. Really good to have it on SR. Importantly, though, the last change that he gets is a new passive that says if there is an ally in red health at the end of the turn, then Walder will immediately end the cooldown on Walder the Super Ranger. And then also, if I remember right, if there's a buttons on the other side of Walder the Super Ranger that gives him 100 meter.
when it's I am a hero.
Yeah, when it is I am a hero. So it lets you keep that buff up for much longer than you used to, which is nice. It's a good thing.
You
You're
needed it.
you're still not really gonna use him unless you just really love the character, like I said. Although it is pretty funny that their Earth has 3 characters who can beat themselves to within an inch of their lives on turn 1. So it's just like, you know what?
Yeah,
Let's just casually have
let's all be best friends.
Rockham murder himself, or Ire murder himself, or
Let's be honest,
Thrail.
Ayer's not dying.
Yeah, but maybe he needs to be rescued. He'll just pretend he needs to be rescued so Walder can rescue him.
Help me.
But really, it's all about the story for this one. Like, people have been waiting for a sequel to this for a very long time, and it turns out all we needed to get a sequel to Ranger Sign Bravo was the entirety of what makes the sky blue. It was all leading up to the sequel to Ranger Sign Bravo, because Azrael and Israfel are the keys to helping Walder.
Also, Shark Event.
And they needed the shark event too, you're right. So it's just like, you know what? I'm with it. I will wait for a while to do these Fate episodes just because I just want to enjoy them. Because hey, they managed to get voice for a lot of them. I really want to have Azrael and Israfel voiced for this. Like, as of right now, it's only Walder who's voiced. So I'm hoping that we get more. Anyway, any thoughts about Walder or the uncap?
Not much actually on that one.
Okay, so then we get into the big part. So did you actually play the end of the DOS yet? The end of the dose?
I did actually. Yeah.
So, what did you think of just the presentation of everything?
I was deeply amused by everything.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't read the full story yet.
Okay.
But I did stop for whenever there was a music part.
Yeah, I'm really glad that they did 2 things. One is that they did the Dancing Avengers thing, where they take the ability out of your hands to skip things so that they match up with the music, like the words match up with the music.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that they finished all the music, because there's 3 event songs, because we finally have Judgment Night, we finally have Bloody Garden.
We have the one at the very end.
There's the new The Dose song, and there is, for some reason, a version of Magical Note, or Magic Journal, sorry. Mahono Note was its name. So this is a song that we've heard live, by the way, DJ.
I know.
And it hasn't been put out publicly anywhere, that performance, because that was the opening night special, like, what is it? The Night Party? It's called the Night Party.
Night Party.
And that song's super cutesy. Like, it was the radio opening for Granblue Channel. It was their theme song. It was
Toyoma now and Kato Emery.
It's Kato Emery using her Sierra voice, so she has to sing in character. That's really freaking hard. And it actually isn't something that she's very capable of doing on stage. So I'm kind of glad that that is a local only thing, so that people won't, like, bash on her for not being able to hit those really crazy notes in a live setting. It's a cute song, and now there's a metal version, because we have Snowdose. We have the gift of Snowdose. Like, this skin's so good.
Have you read the description for the skin yet?
I haven't. Let's go do that. Hold on.
Pretty good.
Is it under supplies for skins? No, it's under inventory, outfits, capital letter Lyria. Alright, let's go take a look at Snowdose. The Messiah has the mic. Just as Aoidos' premiere is about to blast Auguste Festival into oblivion, a voice as clear as a sunny summer's day cuts through the madness. Enter Snowdose, her vocals riding a wave of heavy metal monsters. Bow to the cute and bubbly diva. Her powerful, soulful voice has captured the hearts of thousands. Millions! No, sir, this ain't your daddy's gig. Her purity will save the world. If you call yourself a music lover, you owe it to yourself to check her out.
It's really good.
Meanwhile, we have Battle Mode Lyria. Uh,
Yeah, I like the small battle you get to do for this.
it is cute. It is fun. And yeah, it lets you see the skin. I'm wearing the skin until there's so many cute Lyria skins. It's so hard, DJ.
They don't give me idle skin yet.
We've got the idol skin for her comes with the MC idol skin.
Yeah, but yeah, I can't just have them all idle skins.
Yeah, you're right. So we've got like snow skin, cooking skin, April Fool's Granblue skin, swimsuit Lyria, and now born to be Snowdos. It's so good.
Yep.
So the other thing that I want to point out about this before where we go into this Aoidos specific stuff, the Dos SS, Jesus Christ, is the weaponry. So
Oh man.
I thought this was going to be an axe because
I thought so too.
you hold because of Love Live where you hold the thing by the handle and just whack people with it. But
Nope.
it's a harp. There's not even any justification. It doesn't make noise like the shark. At least when you know, like the cat and the shark, you're supposed to like you play it like a harp, and it's kind of like petting it or something, and it makes a noise like the shark goes shark, I think, and the cat meows. And then this one's just like okay, okay, Granblue Fantasy.
How well, you technically can hold a basket like that. They're not wrong, but no.
And then the other one, we were not ready for this one either. Thanks, Granblue Fantasy, for the flying A, which is totally not a flying V, to be a spear. We were like, it has to be an axe or a harp, right? It's a guitar.
Nope. It's a spear. What?
You got me, Fukuhara. You got me. I didn't call this one.
I like it. I like his picture for what's it called?
For Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, where he put up just Gran with a guitar in his hands as a mounted cavalier. What a freaking troll! What a troll! I love it. What a guy. Let me just pull that up real quick and just put it on stream. Like, really? Really, buddy? You gotta do us like this? Hold on. Droop. And he's not even pointing the neck out. That's the worst part. That makes this all like if the neck was out, you know, you'd be like, oh yeah, you know, the end of the neck, that the head of the guitar. That's definitely
that's poke, right? Yeah.
No. You're holding it by the neck, and oh my god. Thanks, Fukuhara. This horse is super metal. All right. Shall we get into Aoidos himself?
Sure.
So, at the same time as the return of the Dos, we got... Where is it? Is it this one? It is. We got two Aoidos things that we were not really expecting before last week. So, we were surprised for the event that they were giving Aoidos a 5-star uncap in the first place. I actually have been saying that they were going to be giving Aoidos a 5-star uncap this month since they announced the CD. But I didn't expect that it would... Whoop, go ahead.
And then it turned out you were right.
I thought I was wrong. So you got me, Fukuhara. You're keeping on getting me. The whole thing here is that they actually rebalanced him too. So, they rearranged the way that his skills work. So first, Legendary Warriors, which used to give the entire team hype for exactly one turn every 5 turns, has now a longer cooldown, but also a longer effect, which is really important because they changed his charge attack so that instead of giving him hype, which because of the way hype works, if he already has hype, will give him more hype.
Up to 4.
Instead, he extends his own hype. So he goes from like 2 out of 6 to 4 out of 6 when he CAs, and then the fact is that Judgment Knight also gives him the hype up, and so he can actually give himself much more reliable permanent hype now, barring dispels. We'll get back to that later. And then his support skill changed to, based on fire allies' hype levels, they get Chaser. And I believe it is 5% per level of hype. Let me make absolutely sure of this, but that was the numbers that I saw on Twitter for the new, based on hype level, and it is, yeah, it's 5% per level, which is good. It's free damage.
Yeah. On top of the increased damage you're doing, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm actually using the character now, which hasn't happened in like 3 years. Have you?
He's sword proficiency. He's pretty good.
He's sword harp. And then, so here are the things that they did to his uncap. Number one, he has like the most Jimi Hendrix of uncap arts they could possibly have made, which is, it's fine. I like it.
Sliding forward.
Yeah, he's doing the rock slide right there. And so on 5-starring him, the following things happen. So level 80, the active 5-starring him, he now extends the entire team's hype by 2 turns, which is amazing. It's amazing. One of the only bad things about hype is that it just goes away really fast.
Also, that CA is pretty cool.
Heavens of misery! Yeah. it's very, very rockin'. Then at level 90, we get Bloody Garden upgraded, where the number one important thing, this sharp boost to hostility goes away.
Good God.
Do you remember how long that hostility up was, by the way?
According to this, it is like 6 turns.
It is a 6-turn long hostility up. 6 turns!
He won't die. Oh no, he's dead.
It's plus 50 hostility. People are like, oh yeah, it's not suicide. He doesn't even give himself defense down. And it's like, on a normal team, he will have a 66% chance to be attacked on any of those 6 turns.
He's fine.
He's fine.
Anyways, so they got rid of that. Thank God.
Yeah.
They also increased the triple attack that he got.
Yes.
Based on his hype level.
And at hype 4, he will have 100% triple attack, which the blog is very, very specific about saying, if he has minus triple attack as a debuff, that means he still has a chance to not triple attack.
Yes. It's not guaranteed triple attack.
Right.
Those are specific words.
To be honest with you, I don't have much of a problem with triple attack in Fire anymore, so really, this upgrade is about the removal of the hostility. Do you remember the old joke about Fire where like half of their characters had hostility up?
Yes, actually, yeah.
They're still working on that years later.
Some of them to be hit.
Yeah. As for the clap in chat for Rodrant saying, give Antheria Harp, she has a rebalance coming next month. It's anywhere from 4 days to 4 weeks away. And it's pretty easy to think, yeah, they're going to give her Harp.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. Anyway, so level 95, he gets a new support, like they always give to new 5 stars these days. And the new support says, defense to allies based on their hype.
10% each stack.
And at hype 4, it counts as dispel cancel.
And they made a note about if you have both the spell cancel and this, they both go away.
Yes, this is something that you already saw in having both Veil and 10 drum beats on Chicken in Earth, and so it's consistent. If you got debuffed while you had both max drum beats and some kind of Veil on in Earth, it would eat both of them. So consistency, that's good. And then the last thing is that
Skill 1.
skill
At,
1 legendary
level 100.
warriors. So he gives himself damage cap up based on his hype. So
If it's level 0, it's 5%. At level 4, it's 25%. So
yeah, it's
5% each.
It's 5% each, which, if he's at 4 hype, which is not that hard to do, then he's going to have 25% cap up with 20% free chaser. And by the way, if he's also at 4 hype, then he also gives the entire team 3 more turns of hype. So it's just like, okay,
Yeah.
you just want hype up as long as possible.
I mean,
And
that's his original design. It's just better.
it's just so much better.
Actually, just better.
And he gives defense up now, so you can actually kind of bring him to hard content. Like, what are you going to say about just this button that gives you anywhere from 10 to 40% defense up, and then you can just keep that up further and longer and longer, depending on his CA count. And his meter is gonna be just fine when he has 100% triple attack rate. It's great.
That thing lasts 6 turns.
Last 6 out of 10. I'm
Not
with
bad.
it. So, great update to the character. Fire Sword is surprisingly defensively capable now. Like, people were talking about it with the offense of characters like Uisis, and we have an update to Percival coming next month. But between Siegfried and Aoidos, and then someone like Landvane or something like that, you have a really good defensive team. It's not as good on defense as Spear, but it's totally good.
Viable.
Yeah.
Also, I never knew this because we play in English. I never noticed his title was actually just End of the...
End of the Aoidos, yeah.
Yeah.
So the end of the dos is actually a reference to his epithet in Japanese. That's pretty much it. Although, just so you guys know, we have more like radio shows of the dos coming up.
That end killed me.
The doses.
I like the first one, the first radio where he takes control of the helm at the helm.
It's like, hey, that PA system isn't a toy. He's like,
It's for emergencies.
it's so good. The doses. All right, are we done with the end of the dos?
Yeah, we're done with the end of the dose.
All right. Very minor note about one of the effects of COVID. So some of the characters have gotten their voices back, which is nice. Reinhardt Czar is now voiced again, and Reinhardt Czar is now voiced. They don't have the Fate episodes yet, but we're getting voices again. Japan lifted their state of emergency, for better or worse, but it sounds like we'll be getting recording up and going again, but with certain safety precautions. So it's very, very slowly we'll get back to it. They're doing very like separated recording, like going. A lot of recording studios have their setups for safe distancing and draw screen minor refresh. Yeah, hopefully we'll get that. But one of the effects of COVID is that we are going to miss out on something that they promised, which was the default view for inventory. They promised in Choreograph this month that there would be a default button that let you just press it and set a basic number for your a baseline setting for your lists in your inventory. So that once it's like, okay, I'm personally set to recent, this set of filters is like, okay, but I just want to go back to what I usually look for. And they're not done with it, so they said it's delayed. Unfortunate. Understandable.
I'd rather have it working than not.
Yeah. And that's pretty
No, there's one more thing we need to talk about that you didn't write down.
Is it the token draw screen that they updated?
No, we could talk about that for half a second.
I mean, it's one of those things that we've wanted for a while. It's like, hey, I'm gonna draw 100 tokens right now. You got 100 items.
Yay! Anyways, no, the thing that you forgot to write in our list was the Bub's weapons and the Bub's fight.
Right. Okay. So, long live the king. So let's go into my raid list.
And then you watch Moose Pasta fall off. It's like that. Anyways.
All right. So the Beelzebub fight is live, and it is exactly like the Dark Rapture, where it does not drop gold brick. Instead, it's dropping these things, which currently you only need 60 of. I personally have 10 of them right now. Also, you just like look at the freaking description of the abyssal wing. It's like, Bubs, it ain't that serious.
Isn't that part of his wings?
Is it? It is part of his wings. I thought it was a sword this entire time. I guess it is both, because he has sword wings.
Also, I do enjoy that most of the story event for that part, well, for the missions were voiced, except for Kagu.
Except for Cagliostro, which is unfortunate once again, but hopefully they'll get back in.
Yeah.
I really liked the story of the Beelzebub thing. It's all pretty much backstory, with like one thing that happens in the present day in terms of GBF story. I highly recommend that you watch it. If you can't beat Beelzebub, then I'm sorry. He's a tough one. He's a really tough nugget.
It's literally shaping you up for a minor version of the fight.
Yes. So we can talk about the fight now, if you'd like, or we can talk a little bit more about this loot table if you want. But
you want to look at how to unlock the weapons normally.
okay, so now other things. So it's a V2 fight. It's a V2 raid, and we've got ourselves the astral weapons that we first saw in Granblue Fantasy Versus as unlocks from buying Beelzebub as a DLC character. I picked up Fateless personally. Did you pick up anything from your Bub's code or beforehand?
I picked up Fateless because after I saw what materials we needed to get these weapons, yeah.
You don't want to fight Whamdis 7 times?
I can't beat him one time.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
Are you sure you don't want to fight that jellyfish? His theme song's so good, DJ.
I'm gonna eventually fight. Also, I could just fight the other thing then.
Yeah, you're right. All right, so the thing is that all of these things, when you fight them, when you want to buy them, there are 100 urns, 15 of the 6 dragon material, and 500 virums from Arcarum. And so for people who have diligently been doing Arcarum for, these 2 years, it's trivial. 500 earth virums, it builds up relatively. It's a lot. It's a lot. It builds up quickly if you're actually doing Arcarum. And even if you're not doing Arcarum and you're skipping it, it comes in pretty fast. But that's still a lot. It's in this weird situation where it's, if you haven't been doing your Arcarum consistently, then it's going to take you a long time to get here. Maybe not necessarily that long, but it's going to take you a while. And if you have been diligently doing it, then you have way too many. You're like, okay, good. I have those.
I had no idea what to use them for.
It's like, what do I do with the other 2,000 of these things? All right.
What are the uncaps again?
So
I see it right now.
I can show you right now, actually. So let's just show you. Hold on. I wish I had default view on right now.
I mean, you actually had a weapon right there. Right?
Yeah, but it's only 3 stars.
Yeah, I also want that too.
Oh, okay. So from 3 to 4 stars, uncap, astral weapons, So from 3 to 4 stars, it requires your old friend Magnitude Anima,
Oh boy.
Silver Centrums, that drops from everything now,
Mm-hmm.
Legendary Merits, that drops from everything now,
Yeah.
and another 30 urns. So
That's not that bad.
130 urns, and then, your old friend Magnitude Anima. You remember me? I'm here. More Magnitude Anima. And then from 4 to 5 stars is one of those things where I'm staring at it and going, well, that's not happening for a little while. So, alright.
You're out of A, Damascus Crystals, or B, Astras.
Yes. So, okay. The Abyssal Wings, if you can beat the fight, go ahead. That's just
Yeah.
a matter of doing it. Damascus Crystals, so Damascus Crystals have a lot of uses. You get them at a steady rate, but you use them for so many things.
I made dragon weapons, and now I'm out of Damascus Crystals.
I made dragon weapons as well. I made 5-star not 5-star evokers. I'm sorry, 5-star Eternals. I've made 5-star Seraphics or 4-star Seraphics, 4-star Seraphics. And now they're being used for this. So it's okay, I personally, because I have gone to 3 straight Granblue Fantasy fests, am totally fine. That's 30 Damascus Crystals that they've given to me for walking through the door and claiming a code. That's great for me personally.
I can't complain either because I got 20.
But
But for a normal person who lives outside Japan,
if I hadn't gotten those, I would be at 9 right now and going, okay. And, this is with me doing a ton of Ultimate Bahamuts and things like that drop grains. Oh, hey, I have another 2. Speaking of which, I have another 2, so I can't complain that much. But still, that's a lot.
these things, I can't say they add up, they subtract a lot.
They get used a lot. Then we have the 6 dragon material. So that's a high barrier of entry. You have to be able to beat it, especially since the raid version of it has been delayed. The other option is to spend
You can only fight this twice a day.
Yeah. Or you can fight Lindworm a really large number of times.
I do not have, and also don't forget, it's 100.
It's only 3,000 quartz, DJ.
I don't have 3,000 quartz. I ran out of water quartz. I ran out of water subs to break.
Yeah, running out of water quartz is going to be bad if you actually want to fight Beelzebub too. We'll get back to that later. This is the really tough part. Astras. So, there is exactly one of these that I can make without, actively gimping myself. So, I just made Geisenborger. I have 6 Light Astra after that, after actually making that character. If I wanted to make that character, and I didn't have him yet, with 6, I'm just well, I have to choose one of these, don't I? And then, because I got near first, and because this is the way the world works, I have 112 Dark Astras. I have 112!
I have 70, so yeah, I feel it.
So this is the only one I can make. And so
super gimping yourself.
Yeah, so I guess that's what I'm making.
I mean, to be fair, you made also near before they buffed Arcarum.
Yeah.
So before there was more drops.
Yeah, I did. I hate everything about this. But I figure this is also going to be done with Replicard Sandbox in mind a bit too.
Yeah, which makes more sense.
It does, but until then, thankfully, these weapons are still very powerful at 4 stars. The only thing that happens... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, the main thing that happens at 5 stars is that their main hand effect becomes... You could just use it wherever in the grid. Which
is disgusting, by the way. But
for some of these?
So, Astral Claw, disgusting. Your 1 full attack damage cap is up on multi-attacks. I wonder what characters multi-attack in Dark...
I can't think of any.
Or the light one, which is skill cap up based on how high your HP is. If only there was a character.
Wait, skill damage and light. What?
Skill damage and light based on healing a lot.
Huh? Who could be that?
If only there was some kind of like little girl who could just throw out 8 million damage nukes while also healing you for what is it, 8,000?
7,000 something? I don't know.
It's a lot.
She heals a lot. And that's without ring.
It's just like there's only one response to this. There it is. I must use Flowery 7.
You found it.
Yeah. Wait, are there any dark characters who can't multi-attack? Or, you know, like, we have ourselves the Fateless right here, where it is your attack cap goes up against foes with debuffs. It's like, oh, okay, I guess I have to debuff now.
Well, I guess I have to, hit this button over and over again.
Yeah. So, these are all good to have. I think the worst one right now, and it's not because it's bad in and of itself, the fire one where bonus fire damage to so chaser to triple attacks and only the third attack. So that's the Twin Skulls thing, right, from the Dark Proving Grounds Fist.
Yeah, it's a blow weapon.
The problem is, the only problem is, that it doesn't stack with certain things. There's just all those weird things with chasers. Other than that, like, these things are just really good to have and just have in your sub skill grid or your sub weapon grid.
They are unworldly boosts to whatever attack.
Yeah.
You don't have to main hand a staff in Earth.
So it's on every hit of a TA. Sorry, which one is only the third hit of a TA? Oh, I'm mixing it up with the Rock Fist again. I'm sorry, everybody. So that's the supplemental damage to the third hit of a TA. But yeah, the only thing that's wrong with the Chaser is not a problem with the weapon. It's a problem with Chaser itself, where you always have to just diddle around and try and figure out what stacks with what.
There's a chart somewhere, and it's like trying to figure out, is this Chaser A, is this Chaser B, or is this Chaser? We don't even know. That just works with everything.
Yeah. That's the main problem. Like this one, you get more buffs equals more skill damage. Okay. If only there was some way to get billions of buffs on you, especially in like the game that has Lumberjack now. And then yeah, this one, one foe attack damage cap based on number of buffs. If only there were some sort of way in Wind to buff your team, a great deal.
I don't know, man. So how's the fight?
So let's go into that. So
he was streaming this earlier.
As a V2 fight, right? It is actually quite interesting. Like there's a lot of interplay with the guard button and the chain burst meter in V2. So it's trying to use every new bit of V2. It tells you what moves are coming.
Thank God.
It lets you know that a trigger is coming, so that is one of my favorite things about it, where it's like, you don't have to ask yourself or ask your fellow raid members, like, what's the 75% trigger again? It actually just says it in the top right of the screen. It goes, Karma! It's like, oh, okay. So I really like that. It means that you're not going to get, like, randomly geeked by percentages.
You cross the percentage, and now this trigger happens.
No, it's like you cross the percentage, you still have to act before the thing happens. And it tells you, like, it'll just shout at you, like, saying, hey! And then, yeah, the another V2 thing is that if it is something that you cannot interrupt, then it tells you by locking the dots and making them glow yellow. It's like, hey, this is a yellow trigger, or this is a purple trigger, but because of how it is, you cannot cancel it by just delaying, which is something that I didn't like about V2 before, and they fixed it.
Mm-hmm. They also updated the handbook about this too for V2 fights.
Nice. So the issue that I have with it right now is that it places a little too much of an emphasis on slows, because so everything that he does can be interrupted, and the way that his self buffs work, they should be interrupted. Basically, if he ever gets a special attack off, normally, not triggers, just special attacks, then he will give himself a buff, kind of like Evangelist in Dark Rapture. When he gets to 3 of them, he gets a massive spike to his stats. Honestly, 1 stack of them is just not fun. So you're fighting against his C8 dots the entire time, and so you just want to chuck slows every turn possible. Like, unless he's actually at 0 dots, then you're just like, okay, now I can do something else. The problem is that this means that you now go to the go-to class for this is it's frankly the best class in the game, Tormentor, because Tormentor literally can do everything. But it means that doing runs gets expensive, because remember how you're out of water quartz?
Yep. Which item needs water quartz?
Pocket sand.
Oh, the most important one?
The actual reason to play Tormentor in this fight. Having slow on a 1-turn cooldown. I use easily 5 to 8 per run. And I'm playing with the team with some of the most slows in the game because Tanya reactively slows. My daughter.
She dodges, right?
Yeah, once she dodges, she slows. But, like, it's really expensive, unfortunately. There are ways around this. So everything that he does, Beelzebub, can also be interrupted normally, right? Like, even his yellow triggers from having full dots can be cancelled, and if they get cancelled, he goes into break mode. The problem with this...
He goes to break if he's in overdrive.
Right. Sorry.
That's a specific thing.
Yeah. The problem with this is that they have a very limited number of ways to break. So Chaos Caliber is like essentially his 100% trigger. If you summon, it happens on the first turn. Which
it happens on the second turn.
Right. It requires 30 hits. There's a lot of different ways to do that one. If you're fire, you bring like Tabina and Athena. You're fine. If you're dark, I do all sorts of hula. I jump through all sorts of hoops to do this by summoning Death, bringing it into Nier. Nier then casts World of Love and Death, and then with Seox I press his skill 1, and so that means that between the Death summon, World of Love and Death, and Seox's own chaser, I do 27 hits. So that means then I just press a nuke on Tanya. Totally fine.
You really don't want to take this first one either?
Yeah.
It could stun you.
It stuns you for a turn. But then, for after that, I can't do it anymore. I just can't. Like, I literally can't do 30 hits anymore after that, because usually by the time it comes up again, Nier's dead. Like... Yeah, so if you're light, you give Team Untouchable. If you're Earth, you also give yourself Team Untouchable. My favorite is Alvin G's method of doing it, where he brings Geisenborger in the front line on his Wind team.
Oh, yeah.
He presses the Geisenborger skill 1, which does 17 hits. Then he presses Seophon skill 2, which does 10 hits, and then he just attacks. And then he kills off Geisenborger when the self heal to Beelzebub when he kills a character doesn't matter. But like, whew, that's a lot of hoops to jump through.
but you really don't want to attack.
All right, so
Oh yeah. Also, there's another caveat on this fight. Damage cut does not work. Well, specifically, all damage cut does not work. So you
yeah,
cannot bring 6 Spartans.
it's the reason they said you can't bring 6 Spartans, yeah, which is why people are bringing 6 Tormentors because it's just easier. Like you can do it with Chaos Ruler. I've seen people doing it with Cavalier because Cavalier has a delay as well, and then some people are using Lumberjack to replace Urius, but yeah, just people are defaulting to Tormentor right now.
And you can't Veil.
Oh yeah, that's right. Veil doesn't work either. Where's Cavalier? Did I just get rid of my Cavalier team? It's quite possible. Oh, there it is. So what skill delays again? It is... oh, it's Battering Ram on Spear Cavalier.
Yes, correct.
That's 7 turns, but it's still a double slow, but still. Anyway, the point is that slows are king. Since you can't damage cut, and he hits like a freaking truck. Holy cow!
I saw him kill Yasanya on turn 1.
Anyway, I'm enjoying it, but it's gonna get expensive. It's gonna get real expensive. Like, you just saw me throw down 25, Pocket Sands. What is it? Deceleration powder? Decelerating powder. And if I'm going to have to do that every time, like every time that we have a night, like I've used something like 60 of them, and I've gotten what 5 clears of Beelzebub, and I've got 50 more to go. And that's before we get to things like Eternal 6 stars, which I'm gonna call right now is gonna use Beelzebub drops. I'm just gonna say it right now because it's just like it's the latest raid.
It's probably gonna.
They always want to. It's just good design for them to want us to go back to old fights, which is why the Astral weapons need Grand Order materials, which is why the Astral weapons use Lindworm materials. It's like, oh, we're done with Lindworm. You're not done with Lindworm.
Yeah, not done with Lindworm.
That way, you have a reason for people who are more advanced to go back and help the people who are just getting into that tier of content.
Yeah, it's good because later down the line people are gonna catch up, and we're gonna need people for running this.
We're gonna need people to run the 6 Dragon raid, which is now in July.
Take their time.
Yeah.
I want something that works.
The number one thing I'm sad about with the state of the Beelzebub raid is that, as I was mentioning before, I didn't finish this thought. They only have a few ways to have you break these things. And it's either fill up the chain burst meter, which isn't that easy when you're in a group of 6. Do 10 million damage in a turn, which usually fills up the chain burst meter, by the way.
Because usually it's your CA.
And those are it. So most of the time, if you're at a trigger, you either slow it, you guard it, unless you've been rendered defenseless by Black Spear, or you have to chain burst to break it. And then the thing is that if you're chain bursting to break a yellow thing, you've made a mistake, and you need to essentially eat a trigger instead. It's like, haha, I can break this action by chain bursting. So you chain burst, and then you're like, I'm gonna get hit by karma. I hate my life. Anyway, that's my main beef with it. Other than that, I like the fight. Yeah. I just wish that I didn't feel so bad for messing up the raid for other people, but that's learning a fight for you. That's MMOs for you.
Pretty much, they saw what we did with Fosson, where last 10% we just burst it down by killing ourselves, and said, no, stop doing that. I'm back at like 6% more health now.
Yeah. So I like the design overall. There are a couple of things that I hope they've learned from, where they'll maybe space out the chain burst triggers a little better or something.
It's too close to each other.
Because like 25% Chaos Legion and 10% Chaos Legion, way too close for me.
Because the thing is, in order to chain burst successfully, you need to do a 4 chain twice.
There's only
Or do 10 Ogis.
there's only so many Typhons I can throw out, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'll keep doing the fight. I want to start trying to do it on fire soon, just to give myself a new experience instead of just playing with dark. But you know what? I love Tanya. I'm gonna keep playing it with Tanya on my team because Tanya's the real key to this fight for me, and I'm really happy for that.
Yeah.
Like, the rest of the characters barely matter. I guess 6 matters because I actually do damage that way, but I'm sure I can find something in fire to do. I'm sure Zeta does great things in that fight.
Let me double slow.
Let me just double slow real quick.
Oh yeah, we forgot to mention this one. This thing. 180 divided by the number of players in the raid.
What?
If you,
Oh yeah,
remember?
the turn count. Yeah.
If he will auto kill the raid if someone passes that. Oh man, this fight's great.
It is what it is.
At least the cost of entry is not that high.
Yeah, it is annoying because I remember a lot of people like being annoyed at having to get to 10 malice fragments because it's not a very
Common drop.
common drop. Like, you have to actually like slam your face into them. For all the time that I did doing Tia Malices to get my Majestus, I got what, 90 of them? And that's to get a full Majestus, and that's not fast. So, anyway, I guess people are going back into Malices if they need them. Because I know a couple of people who did.
People do need them, yeah. Hey, look, going back to old fights.
Yeah, going back to old fights. There you go.
Um,
The last thing that I wanted to mention really is just about so I just want to point people to the interview that I did with Fukuhara and Kimura. I'm gonna go ahead and put that link in chat, but it's not really the most like deep interview or anything like that, but it does tell you a few things. So if you haven't read it yet,
it's also, when did you submit the interview first to begin with?
a long time ago.
Yeah, that's why the first question was, even though this was posted in May, your first question involves, it's been close to a month.
Yeah, I probably should have edited that. It's been a while since. All right, whatever. The point is, it's been in the works for a while. I'm glad we got it through.
Hopefully Bingo's better later. Not
I really hope that he doesn't take it seriously. The question about co-op in the casino. It's like, are you sure? Do you want to go back to this? Like, I don't know about this. Like the monkey's paw was just going.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Shirokarte scratch tickets. That was also in your interview.
It was. All right. So we came in at right out around an hour, but are we finally out of things to talk about?
I think we are.
Okay, so join us next week. We'll be back on our normal Thursday time because we won't have to delay things in order to talk about the so many things that happened in the last 24 hours between the end of the DOS, the return of voices, the uncap of Aoidos, the rebounds of Aoidos, etc., etc., etc. Next week we'll be talking about Choregra. We'll be talking about
on Sunday.
Should be for us. It'll be Monday for Japan. It'll be about Choregra. It'll be about the 2 new characters that we're getting in the upcoming Premium Gala, which is in, as a reminder, it's actually tomorrow at this point, which is nice because here we are in the draw screen, and it conveniently ends at noon JST on May 31st, when it is currently May 30th at 2 p.m. So we're 22 hours away.
Oh, noon. That sounds like, premium.
Yeah, that's the Gala coming. My 11 tickets are ready. And,
I'm withholding until summer.
I still have this casual spark lying around, and
I do too.
Yeah, and if it's Gold Knight, I'm doing it. I'm just letting you know that. You hear me, Fukuhara? You hear me?
Have you getting Granblues yet recently?
All right, we're doing our Grand Blues check before we sign off for the day. Who's been in Grand Blues? That all right? So here we have Snowdos and Bale,
B-
Robomi and
Bale.
Robomi, Halicena, and Nicholas.
3 characters who don't need one.
Aglavale and Percival.
2 characters who are getting reworks.
This one's just pure comedy for the Beelzebub fight. Walder.
They'll announce Rosetta, obviously.
Beatrix. It's not going to be Korwa. I'm calling that one right now.
It's definitely not Korwa. Her Save still on hiatus.
Satyr, Medusa, and Nezha?
Yo, give me playable Nessa.
That'd be cool.
That'd be so sick. I want him skating on fire.
All right. So anyway, that'll be what we're talking about next week. Join us then. Thank you, DJ. We're gonna go to sleep so we can catch a concert on YouTube.
What,
Thanks.
5 hours from now?
It's 5 hours from now. So thank you, everybody. You should please follow us on Twitch, on YouTube. We'll put some stuff in the description. But really, all that matters is go get Snowdos. Snowdos is the best skin. It's the best.
Really good.
The best skin for the best girl. Please take good care of my daughter. And with that, good night, guys. Thanks for joining us.